In the third year of knowing my wife, I accidentally discovered the secret hidden in a notebook in her room. It turned out she married me because 3 years ago, her white moonlight had gone abroad. In a fit of anger, she found me, a man who resembled her white moonlight, and married me. Our intimacy was limited to a single kiss and holding hands once at the wedding. No wonder every time I suggested getting intimate, she said she wasn't ready. The notebook mentioned he was returning in 3 months. It was clear she was very happy. How could I possibly hand over the perfect woman I had meticulously cared for over 3 years? I laid my cards on the table. I stopped pretending. By the time her white moonlight returned, my wife was already pregnant. She couldn't run away. 1. Originally, my wife disliked me bringing lunch to her at the company, but now she didn't have a choice. After all, if I kept acting like a docile sheep, she would think I was honest and easy to bully. What I wanted was the contrast, precisely her discomfort. After all, I had loved her for 3 years. To make me hand her over, to admit my own failure? Sorry, I couldn't do it. My woman was mine alone to treat harshly. Only I could be the one to discard her. Chinamo, what are you doing here? Didn't I say not to come to the company unless necessary? Su Muyue frowned, displeasure written all over her face. Muyue, wasn't I just missing you? They say a day apart feels like 3 autumns. You've been away on business for 4 days without coming home. That's like a year. I smiled, cracking the kind of off-color joke she hated. She knew what I meant. When we first got together, I thought she was emotionless and tried using some husband-wife jokes to improve our relationship, but she sternly rejected them. Through the notebook, I learned it wasn't that she disliked sweet talk, just not from her nominal husband. Work matters have been giving me a headache these past few days. Sumiyue rubbed her tired eyes and rolled her stiff shoulders, looking exhausted and sleep-deprived. Boldly, I walked directly behind her boss's chair. She looked at me in surprise, a questioning expression on her face. Then let me give you a massage to help you relax, I said. Sometimes when you're not home, my shoulders get sore too, and I occasionally go to a massage parlor to unwind. I've learned a few techniques. They're quite good for relieving stiff shoulders and sore necks. Sumiyue was quite astonished. In her eyes, I was a rather dull and timid person. Although I often sneaked glances at her, one sharp look from her, and the man would guiltily turn his head away. Now Chinamo was actually telling her he'd dare to go out for leisure and relaxation. She had a slight obsession with cleanliness, but she couldn't give Chun Mo love either. He was, after all, a normal man, yet she couldn't help but speak up. Go to those kinds of places less often. If you must go, choose legitimate establishments. Sumuyue's voice was cold. Of course, I just go to relax and learn techniques, not to look at beautiful women. Besides, who could be prettier than my wife? Chun Mo said earnestly. Sumiyue felt that Chun Mo was very different today. He chatted with her without his previous restraint. He was bolder, and he even dared to use sweet talk to praise her. She wasn't some naive young girl ignorant of romance. After all, as one of the top 10 beautiful CEOs in Tianhai City, her reputation wasn't built on ability alone. Her looks and figure were also outstanding. Many men fantasized about her. Sumuyue's voice turned even colder. I told you, don't call me wife. Call me Sumuyue. This was a rule they had set back then, and Chanamo had agreed. So they had always addressed each other by name. Oh, what are you doing? Sumuyue cried out. Don't shout. I just said I'd give you a massage, Chanamo replied. Sumuyue quickly stood up. She hadn't expected the man would actually dare to reach out and press down directly. Moreover, she was dressed quite sexily today, having just unbuttoned a few top buttons of her blouse. Standing behind her, he could definitely see her cleavage. Sure enough, as soon as she stood up, she looked at the man's eyes. His eyes clearly flickered away, not daring to meet hers. So that's why he wouldn't leave for so long. He had been staring at her the whole time. Indeed, the view just now had been quite beautiful, making him want to massage Sumiyue even more just so he could keep looking a while longer. Just now, you... Next time, without my permission, don't touch me. Sumiyue was a bit too embarrassed to say it aloud. She couldn't very well say, it's wrong for you to peek like that. Chinamo, okay. 2. In reality, interactions between men and women often start with physical attraction. Without that physiological draw, how could two people come to like each other? Chen Mo arrived at the CEO's assistant's office. Their mutual friend, Lu Shiyu, was there. She was exquisitely dressed with delicate makeup. Overall, she was a beauty, though there was still a noticeable gap between her and Su Muyue. Lu Shiyu looked at Chen Mo in surprise. "Why are you here? Didn't Su Muyue say you weren't welcome?" Chen Mo gently closed the office door and locked it. "What? Not welcoming your ex-boyfriend?" Lu Shiyu felt a pang of guilt. "Don't talk nonsense. Who's your ex-girlfriend?" Chen Mo, "Is that so? As Su Muyue's best friend, you ruthlessly broke up with your own boyfriend, only to introduce him to your best friend, your boss. What do you think Su Muyue would think?" Chen Mo had previously wondered why Lu Shiyu broke up with him. After seeing the notebook Su Muyue had left behind, he figured out. Su Muyue came from a wealthy family. To get on good terms with her, after learning that Su Muyue's boyfriend, Qin Feng, had gone abroad, Lu Shiyu broke up with Chen Mo and introduced him to Su Muyue. He remembered how heartbroken he had been back then. After all, they had dated for over a year, sharing many romantic moments and complex emotions. After they broke up, Su Muyue had somehow appeared before him. She understood him well, knowing many of his preferences and his temper. For a time, Chen Mo even thought Su Muyue had come to save him, that she was his perfect girlfriend. So they quickly got married. If it weren't for the notebook, he would never have suspected. He would have continued to firmly believe that Su Muyue just hadn't opened up to him yet, that he just needed to keep trying. Thinking of how he had been a house husband, practically a monk, for Su Muyue for 3 years, and now he had to wait for her white moonlight love to return from abroad. When that happened, what fate awaited him was unknown. You passed off the man you were done with to your best friend, your boss, deceiving her for 3 years. Tell me, what do you think she'll think? Chen Mo said. Lu Shiyu, I was wrong. My current achievements and position were hard-won. I can't give them up. After work today, I'll be waiting for you at the Bulgari Hotel. If you don't show up, you'll face the consequences. Inside the hotel, Chen Mo ruthlessly took his revenge on the woman who had abandoned him for money. Tell me about Qin Feng. What kind of person is he? His looks, personality, abilities? Why'd he leave Su Muyue? Although Lu Shiyu was very reluctant to betray her best friend's personal information, Chen Mo now had leverage over her, leaving her no choice but to comply. From her, he learned that Qin Feng was the Qin family's adopted son. He was very handsome, albeit somewhat effeminate, a smooth talker adept with money, and secretly skilled at seducing women. As for why he went abroad, she didn't know. Hearing this, Chen Mo became even more determined to win his wife over properly. Only he should cherish his own wife. Besides, his wife was so rich and beautiful, and he had genuinely started to like her early on. How could he let someone else enjoy such a comfortable life provided by her? Moreover, a man who could cheat silently during a relationship was definitely irresponsible. All right, Chen Mo began after a moment's thought. You know the situation between me and Su Muyue, but she still has Qin Feng in her heart. We're on the same side now. If things go well for me, your position will be more secure. Okay, from now on, I'll follow your lead, Lu Shiyu replied, showing she understood the situation. When Su Muyue got home, she was surprised to find Chen Mo wasn't there, nor had he prepared dinner. After waiting another 10 minutes, she impatiently called Chen Mo. Chen Mo, why aren't you back yet? You didn't even make dinner. Chen Mo replied, Come to Tianhai Road right now, to the Sweetheart restaurant. I have a surprise for you. With that, Chen Mo hung up. Su Muyue stood frozen. It was the first time he had ever hung up on her. No dinner, and not even an explanation. But thinking about the lack of food at home and the promised surprise, she suppressed her anger and drove to the restaurant. She knew of this Sweetheart restaurant. It was a popular spot, trendy among young people, known for its photogenic decor where many couples dined and took pictures. Arriving there, she watched young couples embracing, their happy smiles revealing an undeniable sweetness and joy. She couldn't help but think back to when she was dating Qin Feng. Perhaps back then, his eyes, like those of other young men, held a certain spark. But why had he left so abruptly, without a word, without explanation or even a phone call? She had been heartbroken for a long time. She had even started to doubt her own desirability, wondering why she had consistently refused his advances. Would things have been different Would he have stayed if she hadn't? A few days ago, she had finally received a call from Feng. Her previous resentment and disappointment melted away when he said, Muyue, I'm sorry. I've always loved you. Please forgive me for leaving without a word. If you don't forgive me, I'll die heartbroken and alone in a foreign land. She broke down instantly and quickly forgave him. She even told him that if he was willing to return and admit his mistakes, she would forgive him. Arriving at the designated private room, she opened the door to find it elaborately decorated. Inside sat Lu Shiyu, along with her college best friend Wang Shanshan and her husband. Muyue, come sit. Today is our 3rd wedding anniversary. I was thinking it's been 4 years since we graduated and we haven't really gotten together. So I took the liberty of arranging this joint celebration. You don't mind, do you? Shinamo said warmly. Wang Shanshan chimed in. Muyue, of course she minds. Such an important day, and you two aren't celebrating alone? Dragging us into it, really. Lu Shiyu, knowing the truth, that it wasn't actually their anniversary, but something Shinamo had made up, didn't dare say anything. Sumiyue, of course, was completely unaware. Sumiyue felt a little awkward. She rarely dined out with Chunmo or took him to social events, preferring to keep their relationship private, especially now that Feng was planning to return. However, being well-mannered and socially adept, she wouldn't dampen the mood. She simply shot Chunmo a sharp glare. Chunmo naturally didn't mind. He found even her glare rather endearing. Having been together for 3 years, Chunmo had learned that Sumiyue actually loved spicy food, but had given it up because Feng couldn't handle any spice at all. This meant he too had endured 3 years of bland meals, a fact for which he silently cursed Feng. That's why tonight he had ordered a mildly spicy hot pot, a dish popular among women. As expected, catching up with old classmates brought back a flood of memories. Even CEO Sue let down her guard and joined in the camaraderie. With barbecue, hot pot, and beer, the atmosphere quickly warmed up. Wang Shanshan suggested playing a game, and everyone agreed. Sumiyue felt she had little choice but to go along. The choice was the classic truth or dare. Being adults now, the game naturally became more risque than their college days, with bolder jokes and questions. Finally, it was Sumiyue's turn to lose. She felt a flicker of apprehension, especially since, fueled by alcohol, she had been quite enthusiastic when doling out forfeits earlier. Chunmo shot Lu Shiyu a look. Lu Shiyu understood immediately and spoke up. It's rare to see Muyue and Chunmo being affectionate. Since today is such an important day, let's have a cross-cup toast. Sumiyue wasn't coy. They had done it once at the wedding, so it wasn't a big deal for her. Chunmo was naturally happy too. Watching Chunmo draw near, Sumiyue felt a strange, inexplicable emotion stir within her. Suddenly, she realized that Chunmo actually looked very handsome and masculine today. It seemed she had always viewed him with some prejudice. He was becoming less and less like Feng. Lu Shiyu started stirring things up. This time, whoever loses has to kiss anyone present. Wang Shanshan asked, what if you lose then? Lu Shiyu, if I lose, I definitely won't kiss a girl. I'll just kiss Chunmo. So, Muyue, you better pray I don't lose. Suddenly, Muyue had a strong urge to say, no, you can't kiss Chunmo. But the game's result was already decided. The mouth of the bottle pointed straight at Chunmo. Chunmo was inwardly ecstatic. Finally my chance. 4. Chunmo considered himself quite the gentleman, reserved even. Little did he know that, to outsiders, the happy expression on his face made him look like a hungry wolf. He lunged straight for Sumiyue's soft, red lips. Sumiyue found herself forcefully kissed for a good 10 seconds or more. Only when the kiss ended did she react. She had been forcefully kissed by Chunmo. She had even felt his tongue trying to pry her lips open. However, what Chunmo hadn't expected was that Sumiyue, coming to her senses, actually slapped me right across the face. That slap stunned both me and everyone else into silence. We all stared strangely at Sumiyue. Sumiyue, sorry, I didn't mean to. Just don't do that in front of everyone next time. Only at home. I felt incredibly disappointed and uncomfortable, but I had to accept the olive branch she offered. Okay, I'll be careful next time. Seeing the awkward atmosphere, Wang Shanshan tried to liven things up again, suggesting they continue the game. This time, Lu Shiyu lost. It was my turn to ask a question. My question was very direct because I genuinely wanted to know. After you broke up with your ex-boyfriend, did you ever regret it? Lu Shiyu hesitated for a few seconds before answering. I did regret it. But people have to look forward, don't they? Hearing this answer, I felt a sense of relief. So many times before, passing her office, I hadn't dared to go in and seek this answer. Su Muyu, on the other hand, kept staring at me, her expression unreadable. I didn't know what she was thinking. After the meal ended, we drove home. We both sat in the back seat without speaking. The atmosphere was somewhat awkward. Mainly, I was still upset about the slap. But then, Su Muyu's next words shocked me. I had a hand in Lu Shiyu leaving you back then. I know what you were trying to do today, but I don't want to deceive you either. It's been 3 years. I know you've always been very good to me, but I still can't fall in love with you. You know, I've always had someone on my mind, an unresolved issue in my heart. Qin Feng. He's coming back soon. I think we should keep our distance. After the divorce, I'll give you a large sum of money, enough for you to live on for the rest of your life. Looking at Su Muyu's exquisite face, how could she say such cold words so calmly? But thinking back on the 3 years with her, no matter how I tried to get close, there always seemed to be a natural barrier between us. Our relationship ebbed and flowed between distant and close, life passing calmly, without a single ripple. Only today had the mask on her face finally cracked, showing various emotions beyond her usual work demeanor. Only today did she seem like a normal person. Chinamo, all right, I accept. Just remember to smile more. You actually look very beautiful when you smile. Then let's set a time. When do we get divorced? Chinamo didn't want to be a simp anymore either, exhausting himself trying to please President Su. Sumuyua, all right, 3 months then. Chinamo, okay, but I have 2 conditions. First, I want a job at your Su Corporation. Second, let's treat our current home situation as if we're roommates renting together. I'll move out after the divorce. Sumuyue felt Chun Imo agreed readily. Just joining the company and acting as roommates? These requests weren't unreasonable at all. Back home, Chinamo started tidying up and cleaning, just his usual routine after coming home. Chinamo, my clothes are washed. Take them and hang them up for me, Sumuyue said. Sorry, CEO Su, we're roommates now. You should handle your personal laundry yourself, Chinamo said with a smile. Although Sumuyue was a bit annoyed, she had just agreed to the man's terms tonight, so she wouldn't take it out on him right away. Early the next morning, Chinmo drove the family's little BMW to work. He rarely drove this car. Usually, he drove his wife's Porsche to take her to work every morning, rain or shine. Sumuyue looked at the empty dining table, feeling another wave of annoyance. Out of habit, she started to order Chinmo around, but there was no response. Having not worked for nearly 3 years, Chinmo was quite excited. Since there was no love at home, he might as well focus his energy on his career. As for serving and taking care of people, whoever wanted to do it could do it. A few people at the company still recognized Chunmo. On his first day, colleagues threw a welcome dinner for him, and Lu Shiyu inexplicably came along too. They were all young people and chatted congenially. After dinner, someone suggested going to KTV. Chunmo had been practically an all-rounder in college. Basketball, soccer, dancing, he could do it all, and singing was a given. After a few Cantonese songs and popular hits, many young women cheered enthusiastically, some even proactively adding him on WeChat. Chinmo naturally accepted them all. Chinmo, hey, great beauty Lu, come sing one together. Lu Shiyu, stop pretending, I know you sing well. Both were Mike Hoggs, and their duet sounded like a match made in heaven. After a few songs, they earned constant praise. Meanwhile, Sumuyue returned home late from work to an empty house, with none of the food he used to leave for her. She felt a little lonely. Helpless, she ordered takeout and idly scrolled through her phone. Seeing Lu Shiyu and Chun Mo singing together that day gave her a strange feeling. She used to go often too, and had sung duets with Qin Feng, but that person was gone now. He was very happy today. Chinmo didn't get home until 10 p.m. Surprisingly, he saw Sumuyue was still awake. The table was piled with half-eaten takeout containers that hadn't been cleaned up. Chunmo knew, of course, because for the past 3 years, eating the meals he cooked had spoiled Su Muyue's palate. Seeing Su Muyue's sullen face, Chun Mo would definitely have taken the initiative to apologize or coax her in the past. But now, there was no need. CEO Su, please remember to clean up the common areas from now on. Sumiya, I don't care. You cleaned before, you clean now. And I'm hungry. Go make me a late-night snack. Hearing her tone, Chun Mo was a bit speechless. There was anger mixed with a hint of coquettishness. Chun Mo replied, I can cook, but you clean up the takeout yourself. In a short while, a bowl of pumpkin millet congee, accompanied by refreshing pickled mustard greens and shredded kelp, was served. Su Miyue seemed genuinely hungry. She ate every last bit. And, remarkably, she cleaned up the takeout containers. Remember to wash the bowl. Chun Mo tossed out the remark. Ever since they laid things bare, Chun Mo stopped indulging Su Miyue. The usually cold CEO, Su started getting bogged down by various tedious chores, initially finding it beneath her dignity. Later, she suggested abolishing their roommate cohabitation arrangement several times, but Chun Mo firmly refused each time. She resorted to constantly pleading and asking Chun Mo for help, much to his annoyance. One day, Chun Mo was getting ready to leave work when he suddenly received a WeChat message from Su Miyue. Today, drive me to see Mom and Dad after work. They miss me. I replied, they miss you, not me. I'm not going. Su Miyue replied, if you dare not go, I won't accompany you home to see your parents for the Mid-Autumn Festival either. Helpless, I had no choice but to agree. Because we had agreed before, even for the Spring Festival, she didn't have to go back to my hometown, but the Mid-Autumn Festival was the one time I required her to accompany me back home. Because that day is the anniversary of my dad's death. No matter how busy I was, or how busy Su Miyue was, I insisted she accompany me home. I wanted my father to see his daughter-in-law. After work, I drove the car quite far away and waited for that woman who always loved to be late. I waited a full half-hour for her. Only then did she appear, dressed in a professional suit, black stockings covering long legs, high heels, unbelievably beautiful, especially with her cold, aloof aura. I couldn't stop myself from silently cursing her in the enclosed space. After she got in the car, I put on a different face. You must be hungry. You look really beautiful today, I said insincerely, forcing a smile onto my face, not showing any anger for having waited so long for her. But the moment she got in the car, I felt an immense coldness. Su Miyue had a stern expression, and I didn't dare provoke her further. In reality, inside the car, my cursing expression and the shape of my mouth were obvious enough for a fool to see, let alone a female so seasoned in tough negotiations. From the shape of my mouth alone, she deduced what I was cursing her. Damn woman, so vain, looks like a vixen, big tits, no brain. 6. The Su family's villa was luxurious, but I didn't like coming here because Father Su and Mother Su didn't particularly like me. But back then, their daughter insisted on marrying me, so they agreed. Unexpectedly, the topic they brought up during this visit made things awkward for both of us. Mother Su said, Daughter, the group is stable now and Mom and Dad are getting old. It's time you had a child. You have no idea how happy your dad was, and how envious he is of the boy your cousin gave birth to. Father Su, his thoughts exposed, coughed lightly a few times, slightly embarrassed. Father Su said, Ah, little Chun, you've treated our Muyue well these past 3 years. We've all seen that. But lately, you've gone a bit too far. How could you leave Muyue alone to go out drinking by yourself? What? Are you showing your true colors now? I broke out in a cold sweat, shocked that Father Su actually knew my whereabouts. But I gave a helpless look, signaling that this matter depended on his daughter, Su Muyue. Thinking to myself, why don't you investigate your own daughter properly? She married me, but still has her heart set on another man. Su Miyue spoke up unhappily, Mom, don't worry about our affairs. I have my own plans. But as a mother, she naturally had the upper hand over her daughter, earnestly lecturing her about the dangers of having children when older, saying they were still young enough now to help raise the child. Helpless, I found it amusing to see the domineering CEO look thwarted, so I just accompanied my father-in-law in drinking. My father-in-law was happy today and also poured his daughter a couple of glasses, saying it was a treasured good wine. Sumiyue usually didn't drink baijiu, but feeling vexed recently, she also drank 2 glasses. After we had eaten and drunk our fill, the two of us returned to Sumiyue's master bedroom. As was customary, I would rest in her room for a while, and then later, when it got late, I would quietly go sleep in the guest room. Sumiyue went to take a shower. I scrolled through my phone boredly, only feeling somewhat hot all over, especially when scrolling past some videos of beautiful women dancing that I usually like to watch. I became instantly aroused. Inside the bathroom, Sumiyue was also feeling very uncomfortable, like a fire was burning inside her. Even washing her body felt unusually sensitive. She unsteadily finished her shower, tied her bathrobe, and came out, only to see, unexpectedly, that I was still there. "Why haven't you left yet?" Sumiyue asked, somewhat displeased. I replied, "It's only 10. If I go out now, I'll be caught. You go explain it." I looked up, studying her carefully, this wife of mine in name only. Although it wasn't the first time she dressed like this in front of me, before, I'd only dared to steal glances. Even if I had improper thoughts, I kept them buried. But today, I found myself increasingly captivated the more I looked. The hormones inside me stirred restlessly. Sumiyue noticed my gaze and my body's unusual reaction, and she began to get angry. "Where are your damn eyes looking? Don't think I didn't know you cursed me in the car today. Get over here." Of course I wouldn't. I knew this woman would actually hit someone when she got furious. She walked over angrily, ready to open the door. She had also sensed something was off about me today. My face was flushed red, and my gaze on her was becoming lustful. However, when she turned the handle, it didn't budge at all, as if something was jamming it. Helplessly, I also went over to open the door. After all, I felt my body growing hotter, and dangerous thoughts were already forming in my mind. Turning the handle, it remained completely still. Sumiyue snapped. "Are you doing this on purpose? You can't even open a door? Useless." Chun-Mo looked at the flushed woman, her sexy red lips, her white teeth. Like a delectable watermelon, he was intoxicated. He grabbed her face directly and kissed her fiercely. The woman reacted quickly, but the more she struggled, the more excited the man became. Instead, her bath towel came undone. The man's kiss was forceful and passionate. His roaming hands seemed to possess a magic touch. Every sliding movement made the woman tremble, until she went completely limp, lost in the strange, stimulating rush of hormones. An hour later, as the effects of alcohol wore off, the two gradually sobered up, realizing the embarrassing scene that had just unfolded. At this moment, Chun-Mo was still holding the flushed woman tightly in his arms. "You can leave now. I can pretend tonight never happened, and you're never to mention it again." Sumiyue's expression was calm, devoid of the earlier passion, because although he had initiated it, the woman had eventually cooperated. He looked at her with a complicated expression. Chun-Mo thought, "Damn, she's heartless. Acting like a stranger before the clothes are even back on." Anyway, it had already happened. He felt a sense of release. Having bullied her so badly, he'd burned his bridges. She was surely harboring resentment, thinking of ways to get back at him. Besides, she hadn't resisted that fiercely just now. "All right, but tonight isn't over yet. For now on, I'll agree to any demand you make. Worst case, I'll take some money and leave later. This woman is impossible to warm up to anyway." He kissed the panicked Sumiyue once more. The next day, he woke up feeling drained on a large bed. After their wild night, he didn't find Sumiyue, only a spot of bright red on the sheets. 7. Over the next few days, he didn't see Sumiyue. They managed to perfectly avoid each other in the small home they returned to. He knew she was avoiding him. They were like two parallel lines, destined never to intersect. Even though Chun-Mo felt guilty, stopped going out partying at night, and started coming home punctually every day, making breakfast and dinner. Even when they did see each other, she remained cold-faced, without a trace of emotion. Chun-Mo moved out of that home. He packed up his few personal belongings. A single box held everything from the past 3 years. He changed companies. He didn't want to force anything anymore. After all, her white moonlight was coming back soon. For a while, he lived quite freely. His ex-girlfriend, Lu Shiyu, sent him a text. "Sumiyue's white moonlight is back. Doesn't look like much, honestly, You're way more handsome. She sent a video clip. Su Muyue was dressed beautifully. Although her face showed little expression, you could tell she was very happy. I replied, even though I've left her and the company now, I still hope she finds happiness. After all, over this past month or so, despite my resentment, I've come to clearly understand my place in her heart. Merely Qin Feng's substitute. And I must also pursue my own happiness. A few days later, I messaged Su Muyue on WeChat. When are you free? Let's go finalize the divorce. There was silence on the other end for a long time, but I was already used to it. Wait a bit longer, Su Muyue replied. Wait for what? You can't just usurp my place like this. I'm still waiting to find a new girlfriend, I said. Recently, my mom has also been asking about Su Muyue and me, pushing me to have a child soon. I'm getting tired of it. But I didn't dare tell her that my marriage with Su Muyue had already reached its end. I attended a college reunion. Lu Shiyu and I were drinking and chatting merrily, unusually warm toward each other. Some classmates started teasing the two of us. You two were such a perfect golden couple back then. How'd you break up? Now you're both still single. Why not rekindle the old flame? Unexpectedly, Lu Shiyu didn't stop their teasing. Instead, blushing, she glanced sideways at me. A cold sweat broke out on me. I recognized that look in Lu Shiyu's eyes. She used to look at me with such deep affection back then, but I didn't want to get involved with her again. After all, back then, she abandoned me for money without a word. And now, she surely knew that I would get a share of assets from the divorce. Knock it off. We're buddies now. I can't make a move on my own friend, I replied, laughing off their teasing. The party broke up. Lu Shiyu had drunk too much, so I had no choice but to take her home. In the taxi, she held on to me tightly, and I couldn't push her away. Chinemo, can we go back to how things were? Lu Shiyu suddenly seemed sober, asking me inexplicably. We can't go back. However much I loved you before, that's how much I hated you after you left. Isn't it fine the way we are now? I answered faintly. Is it because of Su Muyue? Lu Shiyu asked. I questioned my own heart, but it seemed there was no answer. It was like a chasm on the road ahead. You always want to turn back and fill it in, but you're afraid that once it's filled, you'll never find any trace of it again. I don't know either, but it will eventually pass. Ours was a marriage of convenience, you know? I replied. Scumbag. I wronged you, yes, but don't you wrong Su Muyue. Don't think I don't know you slept with her. Lu Shiyu suddenly flared up in anger. How have I wronged her? I said, annoyed. It turned out that after that night, Lu Shiyu had noticed something unusual about Su Muyue's body and Hickey's concealed with foundation, clearly left by me. I can't stand that Qin Feng. The way he looks at the president is just lecherous. Besides, judging by his appearance, he clearly lacks vitality. How could he possibly make the president happy? He has no real workability either. He just throws his weight around the company because he's close to the president, only knowing how to suck up to her. Lu Shiyu angrily recounted everything happening at the company, wondering why Su Muyue couldn't see that this man was completely inferior to me. I knew she genuinely cared about the president's well-being. Am I really as good as you say? I felt a secret thrill. But I'm about to divorce her too. As the bygone ex, I can only wish her happiness. I had made an effort, but I didn't want to grovel anymore. Suddenly, my phone rang. I looked at the screen. Surprisingly, it was Su Muyue calling. I was suspicious, but answered it anyway. Hello? What's wrong? The water heater at home is broken. Can you come take a look? I thought for a moment before replying. Okay. The code for the main door hadn't changed. The decorations in the room hadn't been moved either. Everything was just as it used to be. I couldn't help but feel surprised. I thought she might have brought Qin Feng back here. You drank tonight? Were you at a party? Su Muyue looked at me, her expression blank. Yeah, had a little. I'm hungry, Su Muyue suddenly said, her eyes wide as she looked at me. What? I left, and you can't even eat? I said, looking at her somewhat aggrieved expression. Since I was already here, I went and made her some side dishes she used to love. I just hadn't expected it. In such a short time. She had taken a shower. Her long hair hung loose, her white thighs, her curves. It made me unable to stop thinking about that night. For a moment, I couldn't help stealing glances. And Su Muyue, whose face had been expressionless, now had the corners of her mouth slightly turned up in a smile. She sat down quite naturally, eating in small bites. Those sexy lips, licking a grain of rice from the corner of her mouth. So elegant, so alluring. Damn it, this woman must be doing this on purpose, I thought. You eat slowly, I'm leaving. I didn't dare linger. Otherwise, I'd surely make a fool of myself later. Have some with me. What, found someone new outside? Looking down on your old flame now. Sumuyue's words were baffling, but I didn't dare argue with her. I was afraid if I annoyed her, she wouldn't give me the separation payment. Like old times, we finished the meal in silence. At the new company, a beautiful girl suddenly caught my eye. She was young, pretty, and very lively. Of course, I knew my outward appearance was good, and I was driving a Porsche now. We started going out for meals, saw a movie. But after just a few days, she told me, "We're not suitable. You can't give me the life I want." I was completely stunned and felt down for several days. Afterward, old friends set me up on dates, and Lu Xiyu enthusiastically offered advice. But both times, after meeting the girls, something always went wrong. I even started to wonder if I was just unlikable. My mom used to be anxious to set me up too, but now she wasn't pushing me anymore. I was happy with the freedom. Instead, Sumuyue started contacting me more often. Sometimes she'd ask how I was doing, or ask me to come over and cook for her. We talked more casually than before. Since I wasn't trying so hard to please her anymore, I even deliberately teased her. "How are things with Chin Foam, Ms. Infatuated CEO? So. I'm getting married in half a month. Are you coming?" Sumuyue replied nonchalantly. Hearing her say it herself, a pang of disappointment hit me. The woman I had loved. I thought I had moved on, but our recent interactions, despite the distance, had stirred a faint longing in my heart. After all that night, she had been so cooperative, so happy. I'd even felt like she was truly mine. "I won't go. I'm afraid I might not be able to resist punching him. After all, you were my prize to lose," I mocked, suppressing the bitterness in my heart. "Go to hell, you pig." Sumuyue yelled. I asked Lu Xiyu what Chin Feng was like, but she wouldn't say much. "If you can't let her go, then crash the wedding. Didn't you fight for me once? Why so cowardly now? How is that the same? It took me 3 years, and I still couldn't win CEO Sue over. I'm afraid she'd kill me," I retorted. But she just laughed and called me names. I was speechless. The days passed quickly. I checked the date of her wedding. It was actually the Mid-Autumn Festival. I remembered the promise from that day, too. But after today, she would be another man's bride. I ended up being dragged there by former colleagues from Sue's company. I was furious. It was so damn cruel, like twisting a knife after the kill. Inside the 5-star hotel, the venue was lavishly and romantically decorated. The seats were filled with guests. I saw many former colleagues and friends. They had even seated me in the front row at the main table. Bafflingly, sitting among the guests in the front row, I saw a handsome man. It was Chin Feng. He was indeed handsome, but the look he gave me held resentment and bitterness. I was completely baffled, my mind reeling in confusion. As the wedding progressed and the host began, the atmosphere instantly livened up. I even found myself curiously watching the spectacle, wondering which unlucky guy was going to marry this cold, stone-faced woman. The main doors opened, and the moment the bride was seen, the atmosphere in the venue reached its peak. Sumuyue looked beautiful today, truly beautiful, dressed in a pure white, custom-made gown, adorned with sparkling jewels. The joyous expression on her face revealed undisguised happiness. Smiling, she basked in the crowd's praise and blessings. If I didn't know her personality and temper, I might even envy her unlucky groom. Everyone was puzzled as to why the groom hadn't appeared yet. But as the large screen displayed a slideshow introducing how the couple met and their sweet moments together, I was stunned. My mind went blank. The photos from Sumuyue's supposed campus romance, with a male lead, should have been Chin Feng. Now all featured me instead. Sumuyue and I, holding hands, strolling down an avenue lined with plane trees. Sumuyue snuggling in my arms in the campus library. There was even one picture, perhaps they forgot to Photoshop it, that still showed Chin Feng's face. This drew puzzled glances from the sharp-eyed women in the audience. And in some photos originally taken with me and Lu Xiyu, the woman had been replaced with her. I stared blankly at Sumuyue. I could tell from her beautiful face that she was suppressing a laugh, her lips pressed tightly together, almost unable to hold it in. Somehow, I was now wearing a suit, a groom's tag pinned to my chest, and a bouquet had appeared in my hand. Let's welcome the groom to the stage. As the host announced this, the spotlight landed squarely on me. Wow, the groom is so handsome. Isn't that Chinemo? How can it be him? Playing games like this even after being together so long. But it really makes you envious, Lu Shiyu remarked tartly beside me. Looking at Su Muyue's smug, provocative gaze, my head was spinning. I had no idea what she was up to. Was she trying to get revenge on me? Or humiliate me? You brat, get up there already. Don't keep my daughter-in-law waiting. My mom suddenly appeared, pinching my thigh with a serious expression, telling me this wasn't a dream, it was real. I had no choice but to slowly walk onto the stage and stand beside Su Muyue. Immediately, murmurs of amazement and praise rose from the crowd. We truly looked like a perfect match. What are you playing at, Su Muyue? I asked, my voice laced with annoyance. It's your wedding, you're the groom, Su Muyue whispered. I don't want to. Who would want to marry a cold woman like you? I retorted. Don't you dare. This is being broadcast live. Su Muyue's tone softened, becoming gentle and slightly coaxing. Besides, she continued, you upset me last time, and then you kept ignoring me and weren't nice to me. What's wrong with me getting a little revenge? Oh, I serve you right for tricking me. I'll leave you standing here as a bride without a groom. Hubby, I was wrong. Please forgive me, okay? How about? I'll let you kiss me later. Su Muyue suddenly pleaded coquettishly, tugging at my hand and shaking it gently. Hearing her call me, hubby sent a tingle through my entire body. That piteous little expression. Was this really the same cold Su Muyue I knew? I admit I couldn't resist. I surrendered. I resigned myself to being the unlucky groom. You can see this couple is deeply in love. Let's give them our warmest round of applause to bless them. I smiled mechanically, accepting the audience's blessings, until I heard the instruction to kiss the bride. Her face flushed red, and she looked at me with an expression blending shyness and apprehension. She'd already called me hubby herself, so what did I have to fear? I just went for it and kissed her hard. Time to settle old scores, vent 3 years' worth of frustration all at once. After the day's events ended, we returned to the familiar home, but it had already been decorated, transformed into our newlywed room. I'm exhausted, Su Muyue sighed. I didn't realize getting married was so tiring. It only happens once in a lifetime, so it's normal to be tired, I replied, too exhausted myself to say much more. After showering, Chunamo lay on Su Muyue's large, soft bed for the first time. Looking at the beauty in his arms, he suddenly felt full of energy and vigor. I'm tired. Let's turn off the light and sleep. Su Muyue murmured, her voice barely audible. I like keeping the lights on, Chunamo said cheekily. I really just mean sleeping, nothing else, Su Muyue said, slightly alarmed. He uttered, that's not up to you, and immediately kissed her lips. 2 hours of intimacy later, the woman thought, this man is so easy to fool. Just pretending to be vulnerable gets him all worked up, and he thinks he's so clever. The man thought, the sense of conquest over a proud, feisty woman feels amazing. During their honeymoon, they traveled and enjoyed the scenery, also taking wedding photos and capturing sweet moments of their daily lives. This made up for the pitifully few photos they had together. Less than a month later, Su Muyue was pregnant, and Chenemo took on the role of a house husband again. Half a year after their eldest son was born, their second daughter arrived. After their second daughter was born, Chenmo was sent back to work. He toiled away during the day, only to return home at night to take care of his wife and children. Chun Mo lamented his regret, exclaiming that even a pack mule wasn't worked this hard. Su Muyue consoled him. Haven't you ever wondered why those other women you were involved with suddenly stopped contacting you? Seeing her triumphant expression, he instantly understood, realizing just how insidious and cunning this woman was. Dominating her that one time had cost him his entire life. He had been too naive. As for Qin Feng, he had long since been fired and sent abroad.